Hello and welcome to Squadline Battles. It's the weekly EU Mixed Clan event going on again. As always, Squadline Battle starts delightfully delayed. It always is. So thanks for being patient and bearing with us. Today we've got. I'm just gonna mute command chat as they go through their Mac checks. I was seeing if I could get any info on why it was delayed. This week we're on SME, so we're going to be seeing a delightful town battle throughout this middle point here, with SME as the actual midpoint. It's a lovely map though. It's horrible for both teams, which is exactly what you want to see. Artillery battery into SME into Ruda Gambersville. It's a wide map. We're going to see some incredibly wide pushes here, particularly from this allied team here, being commanded by House Gangster, with the Axis team being commanded by one of the RHA guys. I don't know which RHA guy it is. I just know it is an RHA guy commanding. So it's going to be interesting to see how they both attack this, depending on who caps the middle point here. Obviously, we've got with SME, it's a slightly allied favoured map, which is always nice to see because Axis obviously being the stronger team. It's nice to see the allies get a little bit of an upper hand. However, on SME in the seasonal, the average win rate is actually 50% for each team, so we should see a really nice balanced game here, which is why we always like seeing SME as one of the points. Taking a quick look over the artillery pits, doesn't look like there's an artillery gunner for the Axis. Chalky might be considering it as he takes a quick look. Doesn't look like there's anyone in there just yet. And as we swing across over to the Allies stream, Allies artillery pits, we're going to see a whole bunch of people. Looks like a couple of tankers waiting for their first tank, and Trollfaust on artillery as well. Looks like these tankers are they're probably going to wait for that first heavy tank. What happened? Oh, there we go. That was weird. My everything just closed for a second, then I'm back. So it looks like these allied tankers are going to be waiting for that first 76 to get that out nice and early, as quick as they can, to get the advantage over them, with Trollfaust being their main artillery gunner. Trollfaust actually, in the last week's Squadline battle, was the player with the most kills, which is interesting, on the artillery. I didn't think the artillery had done too much in last week's, but he was clearly accurate and knowing exactly where to aim those guns. So taking a quick look at the map, it looks like the tank's going in for that narrow deployment. I expected that into SME. These tight streets make it really difficult to kill the tanks off the opening. Do we see the recon tank being used? No, looks like no recon tank being used today. So recon squads must be within these trucks somewhere, I would imagine. To see that. And as we zoom over here, we're going to see and again another tight deployment by the Axis team. So two trucks going straight into the center here. It'll be interesting to see whether these trucks turn off. Who have we got in the supply truck today? So it looks like it's Papa, Vince Papa. So he's going to be commanding the Axis team today. So nice full trucks, looks pretty good. We've got spotters in this first truck as the first artillery shells start to land. Be interesting to see exactly where they're hitting. They're hitting too deep. You don't want to be hitting back there. It's no good at all. We know there's not going to be anyone building in that sector. They're always going to be building just behind those houses up there. So early deployment here by the Axis. As we take a quick look at this map, they've arrived slightly earlier than the Allies team. Allies will probably get set to control a little bit earlier, as this Trollfaust artillery marker is bang on exactly where you want that artillery to land. If it can land about now, take out these players. Doesn't look like it is. There's no SLs in this truck though, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, there is a hated SL in this truck. Is he going to go into one of the gardens? Nope. Looks like he's going to try and get himself into the church, but gets picked off there by the medium Sherman in a lovely position there. Nicely angled down this road, takes out two of those trucks and just keeps that SL out of the church. Heavy church deployment here by the Allies. I don't like to see this one bit. We're going to just zoom out and get a wider view. That southern attack there by the EG squad is fantastic. Already across the road, they can establish that. It's going to be very nice. So up against the first A and the PBS squad there. Otherwise, though, it looks pretty standard other than that fantastic EG deployment. I mean, there's a little bit too many in the church for me personally. I want to see more on this northern side trying to control these gardens. They're letting the Axis get too much of a control over here, but looks like there's some nice pickoffs here from the MGs and the support players in this zone as Stuart moves up. Not being contested by the Lux just yet, though I did see the Lux come up this road. Looks like they're about to meet face to face, I would imagine. No, terrible driving there by the Lux. Gets taken out by the Stuart, exposes his side as he crashed into this building. This Stuart was able to get a nice angle on him. We did take a shot there, probably from Leonardo. So this second rocket obviously can pen anywhere on the front side or rear of this tank and get some damage done. A track shot on the second one, though, is not going to seal the job. This EG squad has made unbelievable progress all the way through first day, all the way through the PBS squad. Of course, as always, led by Kato and Revan 501st. They had to spawn all the way back at their garrison, but at least they did have one up. That's nice to see. Let's take a look at this map, though, see if they've progressed anywhere else. Doesn't look like there's too much going on. House Ganks are known for his incredibly wide attacks, so it'll be interesting to see whether he goes, loads up his supply truck and zooms all the way around the outside to get another wide attack on. But there's a nice flare has just gone up, and it looks like it's highlighting a couple of people around this central area. 2 squads have pushed up. 2 EG squads look like they are potentially, because I don't believe there's 2 EG squads actually playing today. Looks like they might be running 2 SLs just to keep themselves up and into the fight. It's a nice tactic to run. You see that pretty commonly across all of the competitive teams playing in the seasonal. So it's nice to see those sort of tactics coming across into squad line battles just to keep the gameplay a little bit more competitive. Looks like they're going to start grinding down this road, making the direct attack into Rudy Gambersville. Taking a look back at the point here, we see some good progress here by PBS and RHA, with this fight still happening in the northern side here between BWCC, BFT, Core, and Hated. Looks like they're still wrestling over control of these gardens. Just about in control of the Allies team, though. It's going to be tricky to cap this back. BFT Pivno there is racking up a nice trade there, and it looks like perhaps one of these guys here picks up 2 kills on the Core and Hated players. As I was saying, this Axis team here is going to need to take control of these gardens in the north and the south before they can even dream of capturing this point. Nikolaus is looking to get inside this church. However, he's, while he's going to count for a little bit more while he's inside this cap circle, it just is not going to count for enough. He's going to perhaps get caught by this mine. Nope, doesn't get caught by the mine. Has he seen it? I would suspect he's seen it as he looks to chuck a grenade in there to get rid of it. Let's take a look at the quick map view, see if we can find our tanks. As I suspected, this early 76 is now starting to make its way forward with Scrub as the tank commander there. So Scrub's tank here is going to be looking to get himself on this northern side across this open field and link up with that medium tank. We haven't seen the Panzer IV anywhere on the map just yet, so there's been very little pressure from this Axis team, and they're unable to stop this little bit of a wave coming forward here from WD-44 as they get into these gardens. They gotta make sure they protect these. These are fantastic outpost spots and really the main launching off point. What they don't want to be doing is spawning back here. If they end up pushed all the way back to their garrison, which I can ping with some anyone squad, which could be up and around this sort of zone, potentially back here around these houses. If they start spawning back in this sort of area, they're going to be in trouble, as it's going to be really difficult to push their way through these houses. So as we take a little zoom across here. It looks like there's BWCC have really pushed up high now and really made some good progress on this northern side. This is a fantastic defensive spot that they can get themselves in. If they can control this field, it's going to be absolutely vital now to continue that and be able to keep pushing them out. This Axis team are actually in a little bit of trouble if they don't retain control. They've pushed the WD-44 squad out here. It looks like House Gangster is marking that with his observe mark to say that is where he wants a squad, just protecting this road right here. It is the main point between the two points where they can come through. This EG squad is patrolling it quite nicely though, and looking to make some progress here. It looks like this RHA squad new into the zone is looking to come through here. And as I said, there's this attack is getting wider and wider as we speak. Be nice to see an SL down here looking to take this wider attack into this zone. So just taking a look at the map here. What can we see? The medium tank has really pushed far up now, and House Gangster is starting to get his characteristically wide garrisons up. Although there's a little bit of pressure within St. Mary-Eglise. It looks like a recon flare's just gone up as they send a recon plane over the back of the point. Now, the reason why you might send this recon plane is just to see what there is going on back there. They know that these players are going to be in front of their squads. It's the ones behind that you really don't want to let into your area. That's where the real danger comes from. So that recon plane coming over doesn't show anyone. That's going to keep House Gangster nice and happy. In terms of his defense, because he's absolutely not going to want a squad to get their outpost up in back here, or even in one of these gardens, because they become incredibly difficult to remove from that zone. A lot of BWCC players here, all within grenades reach of each other. BWCC boys, spread out a little bit. Spread out. Stop getting yourselves so involved in each other. You know, you trust in yourselves to win the trades. I know Faker's, he's just turned away from looking down this road. So it's, you know, they've got lucky there. They should be trying to push across this road though, rather than just sitting in this garden. This is how you get boxed in. Core Crusader's a dangerous player, but ultimately he's just one guy, and you can eventually get rid of him there as they manage to do so. So now start pushing out, get out of this zone, and start meeting these hated squads. This first A squad who's flipped over. Looks like the RHA and the first A squads have just rotated their way through here. Zooming across back to Rue de Gambersville now. It looks like there's nothing going on in the back here. Just a couple of people roaming around. Chalky, not quite sure what you're up to, buddy, but I'm sure it's important. As this bio squad out here looks to defend the flanks. Again, it's fine having two people out here, not a problem. Nice AT gun, actually. Very nice placement from the AT gun. Here, just looking to make sure that they control this field. Though I do spot a little recon tank. Hated here. They're just peeking. Perhaps have seen that AT gun. It doesn't look like they would have seen it. But again, this is a lovely spot because they become very difficult to root out here. They can't move because of that AT gun. They'll get blasted straight away. But it's nice to see them control this field with a recon tank, a nice cheap vehicle there. Because to get a shot across the field, not impossible, but it does become fairly difficult to do at this level. So we're just going to take a slow pan over here. We see the Allies team with lovely control, just trying to get themselves into these 1v1 situations now. I think, they are up against good players. And in this northern side, it's becoming a little bit more dicey. So, there's an SL inside the church tower, it looks like. Not quite sure how he's managed to find himself up here. Captain Cody's just walked in the front door, it seems, as he looks to protect here. Wins 2 gunfights, very nice to see. As he controls this church tower. Not sure, we can't see his outpost unfortunately, so we can't see where his support's coming from. Does eventually get taken down though. There, just muted to cough slightly. Apologise about that. Seeing BWCC still defending this side. They are. It's a loose grip on it, though, I'm going to be honest with you. MG's in a nice spot to be able to cover this open field. Will easily be picked off by Sniper if they spot him in the distance there. House Gangster pinging in the backfield there. Look, I told you these garrisons were obviously going to be coming up here. This garrison is red just over here, so we're going to take a quick look at this. See if we can spot what is pinging it. However, it is a 100-meter distance. I was hoping to be able to see. There we go. I thought we might see one of these Panthers roll it up, looking to come to the south side where the medium tank. That medium tank is. Now, I am missing the heavy tank. Nope, there it is, just on the road, looking to defend this northern side. So, nice defensive tank play there. Wouldn't mind seeing that tank come forward, though. Link up with this medium. The recon tanks disappeared from the southern side as well. So, that's been long killed now. Now, what was that just blew up there? Was that the medium tank? Yeah, it looks like it perhaps was the medium tank, just went down. Potentially an AT gun. Somewhere around here, because I'm not seeing an AT guy anywhere. So nice AT gun, wherever that is. Nice spot there from these Axis players at the moment, trading nicely on the tanks. Just 1-for-1 at the moment. As that Panther makes its way through 3 garrisons up here by House Gangster. This is classic House Gangster stuff here. 3 garrisons alive. Absolutely spreading his team out here. This is pretty classic stuff. A couple of players now coming in from the rear side. It's been met very nicely from Bio. Actually, they turned and recognized the danger immediately, so they must have some spawns in the backfield here. Yeah, that's able to ping out and spot this. So really nice play from them to be able to recognize it. However, it doesn't look too good within the strong point here. If they can get a couple more players in, it's going to look even nicer. House Gangster is going to realize that he can start spawning a couple more squads forward. So if we check the map, we may even see, I mean, we've got Charlie Recon squad here. No artillery to go combat at this moment in time. And what do we got here? We finally see this Panther make its way up and into the fight here. Looking like it's, looking pretty exposed here, if I'm honest with you. Now, Aspid is going to have to get to the rear of him to kill him with a bazooka, which at the moment he's looking like he might do. He's going to get 2 shots into the rear of this tank. Les Jansen recognizes it. That's 1 shot into the rear. Tank is not turning quick enough. Don't get your engine blown. And that's the engine gone. And we're going to see these tankers start to panic. Perhaps this gun is going to flip round to the rear side where Aspid is as he bandages up. Aspid, just redeploy, buddy. Get on your outpost, get more going. Unless he's going to wait and see if they appear at the back of this tank. He's going to try and pick up a pitch. I'm sorry, Aspid, you probably didn't want anyone to see that. That's a little bit awkward. I apologize about that one. These RHA guys are coming back in. Looks like a spawn just went down on the point, though. Potentially Garrison's just gone down. That's going to make it harder for these Axis players to react. As we zoom out, let's go double check over at St. Mary-Glees. There is some good progress being made inside this front door. Core Zoom is pushing as well into these garden areas, but without any SLs there, it doesn't count for anything, I'm afraid. Zoom's a good player, but it's just not going to mean anything unless they actually get an SL in here and can spawn more players. Taking a quick look at the map, this heavy tank's got itself in retreat and just put itself into a nice careful position. Do you hear a bombing run coming in? As it looks to clear out over here. It does not hit the garrison, though. Does not clear that garrison. There's no outposts in that zone, so not too many pickups either. It looks like Smash Machine and the 150th are defending this side now with BWCC. Looks like they've recognized that the threat this hated squad are going to bring alongside the core recon squad. However, it's interesting to see NZN. I don't know NZN. They're new to me, actually. It's nice to see a new team come into Squadline Battles. He's not going to pick up Cody. As Cody looks to get pretty close to the church here. It'd be interesting to see a skill with the Thompson there or the MP40 across range. Be interesting to see if he gets his outpost up, though. So they can get a couple more spawns in. It'll be interesting to see if that is possible. Zoom here. We know Zoom's going to have the satchel. Does he? Does he have this satchel? He does. He's going to get that placed. Now, doesn't look like Scrub has noticed this yet in that spotter seat. This WTH tank is not paying enough attention to its rear, thinking they're nice and safe. So Zoom actually is going to make this wide flank count, and that's fantastic to see from him. Nice satchel. As this is going to go off any second now, I would imagine, as Zoom runs away, feeling pretty safe. He's watched out for the requisite amount of time. Although, as we discovered, it is quicker to defuse satchels if there's more than one person doing it. And he even picks up a spare kill against Indy as well, getting the 4 kills plus the tank there. Lovely to see. That 76 goes down without making a dent into this Axis team's armor. Now, taking a look over here, we've still got the 2 EGSLs, and this is the benefit of having 2 squad leaders. They're able to keep up outposts and get a little bit more aggressive with one of them into Ruda-Gambersville. So they can be keeping Bio busy. They've got one either side of the point now, which is nice to see. Nice placements. This Southern Garrison does go down in the end, but look at this. House Gangster things. Look at these supplies already. He's just constantly dropping them into backfield. Not too worried. He's happy with this setup. Doesn't feel too threatened. No garrisons pinging in the front here, so there's nothing coming in the front door as far as he is concerned. There is a couple of players, but again, no real threat. And these squads over on the northern side, not in the cap sector, way out of the way, and then just not able to make a dent through here. BWCC, Wataha, and the 150th are all now defending this northern side. Even NZN has come across here. Even BFT are still on defense. So a lot of squad leaders on defense, guys. You don't need to commit this much, if I'm honest with you. Let's, I want to see more out of House Gangster here, committing a bit more forward. Be nice to see. There's a little bit of action down here as PBS Kato nominally is a defensive squad lead and consistently plays defensive SL here on squad line battles. Is taking this nominal defensive role. And as a 76 is rolling up, we'll see who this is. This is a KTM Garibaldi's tank squad. Nice to see something different for a change. The tank commander driving the tank. I always like to see that. I like to see tank commander gunning a little bit more personally. Always interesting because they look at the map for a long time, but we're seeing really good cap pressure here from this EG squad now. Now we could see House Gangster do House Gangster things and spawn players. Look at this already. The GAT squad in La Prairie. Whenever you're commanding against House Gangster, you have to be wary for this. They will sneak in the back door. You gotta play pretty wide against these players here. Revan spawns deep, tries to get is hopefully going to get his outpost up anyway and get a few more players in. There's Bio and PBS as well dropping back. However, they're only just contested it. EG, they are on their own. They are going to have to win their gunfights to do this. Taking a look at the map, it's pretty spread out. There is no support coming in here for this EG squad, who are now losing it, not winning their gunfights, unfortunately. PBS Kato is, well, not quite holding off WD-44 here, as this 76 just pressures high and goes far into it. We've not seen the Panther tank for just a minute, so I'm not too sure where that is, but Hated Tank Squad now are coming through here as well. So 276s looking to push the point, going for that big rush. This AT gun was taken down as well, so there's no defense out here. No defense at all. This is going to start looking very dicey here. The recon squad comes back, likely looking to flare up through Ruda-Gambersville so they can get eyes on. However, I don't know how much difference that's going to make with 276s coming in. You got to have things to actually be able to kill them. Now, there's not a lot of map control here for the Allies team. However, that'll be certainly something that they can work on now that so many players have spawned back into defense. Got a BWCC Panzer 4. Oof. If you're in Panzer 4s 25 minutes into the game, something is not going well for your armor. Puma coming through now. Puma plays a totally different role, so I can see this. Though having a 3-man tank squad in a Puma is probably not the best use of resources either. Just 2-man that and get someone in the front line to spawn them somewhere. Zooming back over to St. Mary Glees. Now, we're seeing here this Axis team has been just wiped out of this zone now. Hated are still up. They do still have their spawns forward. However, I want to start seeing some of these players getting out of this zone now from the Allies. I want to see BWCC or Wataha or NZN or BFT, one of these squads looking to range out and push for sector control. We're seeing supplies get dropped here. It's interesting to see. Maybe they don't have a garrison up in this front door zone, so they're unable to push through. There's not too much action in this front zone just yet. Guys are trading pretty well together, actually. I mean, there's a tank squad here looking to repair up their Lux. Pretty damaged, no one in the Lux at the moment. One guy dead on the floor. One just chilling out, taking a watch. Zoom, obviously, with the most tank kills so far in the game, I would imagine, with one. And he did that as a satchel boy. Now, a little bit of fighting here. EG have been finally pushed off the point. Chris is now back into the meat grind fighting away, but they are up against this Lux, which is going to start causing some damage as Zoom pops into the gun and starts firing away at Chubby here. It's going to be difficult to push through this Lux without getting infantry in behind it. Obviously, unable to pen the front of it. Zamara's not going to do too much damage from that area just there. But they are trading well against infantry. If they can manage to get a satchel down near this Lux tank, then it's going to look pretty good for them. Artillery here, just dropping close to this garrison. Pretty standard garrison spot. Nothing too interesting here to see. It's what you kind of expect from most teams to place one in there. We are seeing some more players start to get into this zone now. Another EG player still in there. Garrisons have been taken out in this backfield, so they just got the one wide garrison in C5. And that is why House Gangster builds that garrison. They took down this southern one, thought they were safe. They realised they weren't. They went and took this one out, and now they really do feel like they're safe. You take out two garrisons in your back line, and you start feeling like you're pretty comfortable, but House Gangster's always got that one backup garrison. Vicox here, helping to mark this tank. He definitely knows where it is. He's going to be looking to pick off players here. Nice kill on that garrison. He's going to know it's they've got the mark on that as well. Oof. Precision strike does absolutely sod all. Absolute whiff from House Gangster there. Doesn't hit the garrison, doesn't hit the tank. But Chubby is pushing in. They've managed to get through that Lux, managed to get the kill on it. Chubby wins his 1v1, which is nice to see in this Panzer IV. He's blissfully unaware of the danger behind him. As that garrison gets taken out. And this is what you want to see from this allied team as they come through this zone now. They've got to start getting aggressive. Got to start pushing through it now. Get players into the front door, and then you can get those wider attacks going to really seal the deal. That EG squad could have taken that point, but it was always pretty unlikely unless they managed to take down all of the spawns in that zone. But we now start seeing this wave of blue players come through the meat grind section of the map. Tank goes down there. That looks like that was probably that Panzer IV just got taken out. It was indeed. Aspid right on the spot to get rid of that one. Panzer IV never really going to stand too much of a chance up against tanks and ATs. We don't see the 76s anywhere in this zone at the moment. Looks like they were both taken out. We've got a new one coming up down here in Pleash, but we still got the KTM tank squad here with WTH in the medium. So a nice little mix. I mean, obviously running mediums at this stage is not ideal, but they do have two 76s out in the field, and they've already lost two as well. So good fuel conversion there from House Gangster. As that precision strike comes in and whiffs again against the medium tank. Seeing a lot of whiffs at this stage. From the precision strikes is why they're usually just not worth running. Quite frankly, I don't think precision strikes or bombing runs are worth too much in the current meta of the game. You best just let an artillery run. Speaking of which, we should go take a look at everyone's favourite game, which is Recon versus Artillery, to see how that's going. Is anyone up? Is anyone still fighting? Trollfaust is not going to let this go. He did stay here for the whole game last week on Stalingrad. He's up against Tom here, who's just chilling out in a bush. Trollfaust is probably going to get caught, as he doesn't seem to know where he is. Yep, as expected, Tom just bushwookie in his way here. Don't think he can see the guns. Might just be able to sneak a peek through them. But off he goes, repositioning. Let's go take a little look over here at the other artillery pits to see if anyone is making use of them. Just a tank squad chilling. Looks like they're just waiting for their Panther now, I would imagine. But they are on the guns, going to make use of them, which is great to see. Never a wasted moment when you're in a tank crew. Get yourselves into the front line, get yourselves an artillery and load those guns. Chubby here, getting himself entrenched in, which is nice to see in with the recon squads. Not too much progress being made, but they should start making really, really quick progress here if they know the road is empty. Go for it, boys. Go for it. You just got to make this move. Just be brave. It's always tempting to go slow and peek every corner. I just want to see these guys actually push through and make a difference here. Now, what is this I see? Is this an airhead? This surely is not an airhead. It is. It is an airhead. Being covered by smoke from that Axis tank squad. Coming right into this zone here. We'll see if it gets spotted by anyone. It's right by an outpost here. I'm not sure whose outpost it is. Let's take a quick peek at this. So it's Fox Squad's outpost. Who is Fox Squad? That's BFT Peak. Currently dead, so he's going to be spawning in pretty close to this this airhead now. Absolutely covered in smoke. Seems unnecessary. Easy squad with a mark on a garrison. Oof, that's going to put the team off if they don't find this. This could be very nice. As I said, you want to get players into this zone. North and South Gardens, encompass the point and really surround them. BFT Peak has got no idea. Not through any fault of his own. Because look, those marks are nowhere near. Nowhere near. As a strafer run comes over to clear that airhead. Totally unnecessary though. It is not needed. PBS Kato's in the scene just to make sure that this is protected. Cody spawns in, as does the recon. However, over at Rita Gambersville, there's a bit of cap pressure. I don't think it's going to be too much. So, Chubby does get himself in, makes a nice quick move into the point. I wouldn't be too worried about this though. Obviously, the Axis team are not to know how many people are actually attacking this point. However, a couple of 1v1s, if they can win those, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Again, it's just one squad in there. 2 outposts, but 1 squad and a recon. This is looking a little bit more dangerous. They might have committed a little bit too much forward. We're going to see if they can win those 1v1s, if they can get their outposts up and get people into this church. They can start making a bit of a dent into this attack. However, I cannot help but see there is still no response here to this EG squad. It's just Bio back here. They are just about contesting at times. The 76 is rolling up. Now, when the 76 and the mediums rolling in, this is when it starts to get dicey. This is what they needed before with these tanks up. Just to add to that cap weight in the sector now, because these guys should be within the cap sector. They are indeed. So look at this. EG just taking control of this northern point here. And we're even seeing the recon squad in. The Gat squad is still just hanging out in the prairie. Scappy, one of the SLB admins, is actually playing today, which is nice to see. And they're going to be looking to just counter cap or double cap even La Prairie. So still a really nice defense going on at St. Mariglees while they're capping. And they do have that wide garrison in the north in C5. That's unfortunately not as good as they did in the first attempt of capping it that they had. Now, there you go. There's the big spawn wave from the Axis team. That's what we were looking for. Starting to defend this now. Got the half track in there. Love to see a half track. I love half tracks. I think they're fantastic. Are they a waste of fuel? Yeah, usually. But they are fantastic. Tank seems to maybe know what's going on, though. They definitely know people are climbing that wall and getting into there. So there's clearly a tank over in this side with a fantastic view into this point. So this 76 taking the high ground, just able to shoot over that front wall and into the back. But both teams here getting nice cap pressure into the respective zones, keeping this interesting. Axis, again, I didn't think they had it. It does look dangerous with these tanks in, but actually with only 2 squad leaders in, no threat for me personally. They are still capping. It's these tanks. It is these tanks making an absolute difference here. So you can see Axis have got great sector control. They're in a far better position here than the Allies are. But purely based on the time they started to cap, they were not quick enough. Hell, at least game speed most of the time. And it's just the speed at which they cap this is the real difference maker here. And an immediate cap onto the 5th point with this recon squad. Apologies, coughing again. I've been delivering training all day is the problem. So my voice is starting to go now. But there's not enough pressure here from this recon squad to make a difference. A couple of players dropping back in, and that'll be enough to just stop that cap coming. Now, how quickly can they get this garrison up? Smash Machine is now all the way up into the sector as well. Nice quick push from him. No garrison up here yet. I mean, look at what they capped with. This should not ever come to a cap. This should not come to a cap. Last week I was a little bit mean to a couple of people. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm going to be mean to the Axis tankers right now. They should not be letting a tank roam around totally undefended up in the open. Not even in any protection. There's no cover up in this field where the 76 was. This should be a tank graveyard, but at the moment it's just looking rough for the Axis tanks. 176 in it. Unfortunately for them, there should be a second. Now, I did say there was absolutely no cap pressure from the Allies team in reality, so there's an immediate retake here from the Axis, which is looking pretty good. I mean, that half track there is going to be making a difference, allowing squads to spawn in, but there's definitely outposts in this zone now. They're dropping supplies in this backfield as well. It's been spotted, though, by Love Squad. I'm going to assume that's Vaha here is going to be taking that over. They are managing to just about defend Gambersville now. Still no garrison up, though. Still working off just 3 outposts. That is not enough. Still players back here at St. Mary Glees when you don't need to be either. If there's a garrison up, if you're quick with those garrisons, these players can vacate the area. Now, House Gangster can just 1v1 these recon squads. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. House Gangster plays at 20 frames per second. He's not exactly the greatest of fraggers. With enough persistence, he's able to do it. Now, there's just no SLs in that cap point itself, so no garrison going to be going up in there. But if I'm Smash Machine here, I'm going to be screaming at my team to get into my outpost and spawn in as a support player so I can actually get a garrison up in this zone. You've got to get people up. There's 76 here. Has taken a little bit of a hit, probably from Mr. Pepple. However, right now, he's looking pretty confident, though. The shot could come in at the side here. He has, you know, he does know where Mr. Pepple is, I would imagine. It's a good hit from Mr. Pepple there. One shot into the side. Does he have the reload? That's the real question. We'll see. No, it doesn't matter because he is now a man in 2 halves. Now, bit of a cap race going on here. There is still good strong point control by the Axis. But Allies are finally getting players forward and into the cap sector. And they're dropping supplies into the point. But let's take a look at this. This EG squad have been a fucking nuisance. These guys are just fantastic at this in this game right now. They're able to get players forward into this final cap and just keep themselves on the offensive fantastically all game. Rarely, if ever, getting moved out of the cap sector. They were likely coming in. That half track goes down. I've just spotted that in the top corner. That was one of the main spawn points here for the Axis team. That could really ruin all of the pressure if those outposts go down now. Then they're not going to be getting spawns in. What a bombing run there from House Gangster. You know, he doesn't pick up many kills with it, but picking up that half track without any marks on it as well was great play. Probably a bit of an accident. Pivno going on a little bit of a tear. Doesn't pick up the final kill, but does, I believe, wipe that outpost. So that's another squad having to spawn way out of the cap sector with that half track gone. So good timing there as well. An outpost goes down for the Allies, but Taking a look at the map, still no garrison. Guys, come on, peek. What are you doing, buddy? One goes up in the north here from Vaha, finally. Gets one up at least somewhat near the cap sector. Good garrison back here. I like this garrison placement. That's really nice. If they do ever lose Rue, they've got a nice feed in to the front door for it. But seriously, guys, get something up on the front of this point now, please. Come on. There is an awful red zone garrison here, but it's, again, I guess it's functional. Again, I don't like the placement of this. Just chuck it back here, boys. Just place it here behind this tree. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. If someone's looking in that field, they're going to spot it regardless of whether that tree or there's a hedge there or anything. So taking a look at this point, looks like Cool Crusaders picking up most of the defensive work right now as this Bio squad struggles to push in, and as this Luke's comes through now, we've got WT Answer, so one of the Sin squads here, just patrolling through, looking to defend this southern side. I'm going to be honest though, again, look at this. Look, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Why are you giving just the rear of your tank up to an easy side shot? Now, that's been, you can't foresee there being an AT squad, despite the fact that they've been in your point for the last 5 minutes. Why would you foresee an AT guy being there? But giving up the rear of that tank there was absolutely unforgivable. If there's anyone paying attention across this map, it is a possible shot to be able to hit. So that Luke's poor positioning, unfortunately. We see the Allies team here is getting some nice zonal control now. If they can go meet out into this wheat field here, up against these Axis players, then they're going to be difficult to rat out of there. The defensive players are going to have to play like rats for a little bit. Unfortunately, again, I'm seeing too many players tucked in tight to the strong point. There's 3 squad leaders in Rue de Gambersville here. Which is not ideal for House Gangster. He's going to be looking to move those guys out of this point, I would imagine, because actually they're leaving the front door a little bit open. PBS, they can make a quick move through here, and Hated can get into this wheat field. And it looks like there are some players just up in the north here by Easy's mark, Commander's mark, Glove's mark, that are starting to make the way around. So they're just starting to get that surround on the point at this stage. And then they'll look to put the squeeze on. Allies are going to have to push out at some stage. They are going to have to do that because Rue de Gambersville, I don't like defending it personally. I think it can be a very tricky place to take because there is only so many entrances. However, it is a Bushwookies absolute dream. So many little hiding spots, so many little ways you can maneuver up these roads using the bushes as cover and just bait players into you. And you can do that as an offensive squad as well, which is one of the main reasons I don't like defending it. So we're starting to see some tanks rolling through here. This looks like this could be a 76 at the bottom here. Just a little bit exposed, this Hated squad here. How they're probably going to see these players in this wheat field. You would have thought all 3 players lay down in unison. And the 76 rolls on, doesn't notice it. Terrible AT shot there from TL. Bounces off. That's just unlucky. Will Doc take the pot shot as well? Will he go for it? Doesn't look like he here. Oh, and he whiffs as well. Oh, Doc, buddy. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry I caught that on camera. But this poor 76 is getting an absolute battering right now from ATs. Absolute battering. As he gets taken out from a tank. Way over in the distance. What is this? What are you doing, Mr. Panzer IV? How did you get yourselves out here? I mean, you are exposed, but you've taken out a 76 with a fantastic little angle. It's nice to see. Finally a little bit of tank dominance. Perhaps maybe this Axis team are going to grow into the game a little bit. We'll have to see. As we take this wider view, another little push in to La Prairie from the Axis team. Now, we'll see if this Axis team have learnt their lesson because, again, there's not many players in here. This is easy to snuff out. All they have to do is just get a couple of people into that strong point, and get that tank, making sure that is inside of the hard cap, because currently it is not, and it's going to be coming up against this Stuart here. Which way are they facing? Oh, I went a little bit too far. As the Lux looks to take out the Stuart's tracks, stuck into first gear now as we see, well, oh, Jesus, I mean, we can call it a tank fight if you want. Don't give up the side of your Lux. Don't do it. Don't do it. What are you doing? Oh, Jesus. I think Honey Badger and Bite Size might be in the chat today, and they're not going to be too happy with the tank gameplay here. I mean, that could go on forever. That may never actually end, so I'm just going to leave that alone. What is he doing? Why is he hopped out as he reps up his tracks? How is he not dead? Hang about. I was going to fly away, but Garibaldi here, unbelievably managing to repair up his tank there. That's ridiculous. Now, this Stuart is just taking an absolute battering at the moment, but his tracks are going to be absolutely taken down. I'm sorry. Did they, again, another... I can't believe I zoomed away and I heard that explosion go off. The Lux, again, gave up the side of its tank to the Stuart. I do not understand these Axis tankers today. They are... Well, I think they might be playing a different game, if I'm honest with you, because the Lux play has not been good. The Lux has got one strength and one strength only. You put its front to enemies and it probably doesn't die, unless it's a heavier tank than it. Up against a Stuart, up against ATs. Probably shouldn't ever die on a Lux, if I'm honest with you. Just shouldn't happen. So they hit squad here, making good progress into Rita Gamzersville. They're not being backed up, though. I'm not quite sure what happened to PTBS, Kato, and this southern side here. It looks like they've given that up as Bio now are going to give it a go. They were fairly well progressed, but got taken out on the front lines, it seems like. Hated now are just the ones that are still up here. So we fly across here to the other side of the map. Let's take just a quick angle over here. WD-44 here are currently fighting against First A and PBS and Core. Not ideal to fight against, but they seem to be doing okay, fighting across this field. Some good shots here by Rebro and Vaha. Rebro is a decent shot. Vaha is a good SL. So expect to see them being able to hit those shots at that range. However, let's take a look over here at Core Zoom as he's peeking across over at these WD-44 players. He's going to spot Vaha there. No shot available to him. But he does know they're out there. He's going to know they've got an outpost. He's just going to keep watch on that. But this allied team here, they're looking very comfortable. They are looking very, very comfortable indeed. Even Trollfaust has come forward off of the artillery at this stage. So let's perch up high again, taking a look at both points. Getting towards a bit of a stalemate here. As BFT look to push across this wheat field now. It's pretty standard. Once you get past these two wheat fields, though, pushing that open field is nigh on impossible. It's really not gonna go well for you. So you do have to make progress elsewhere in this map. I'm just going to take a bit of a lower angle here to see what's going on right on the south of this map. Doesn't look like too much. This is where I want to see a squad pushing through. You just got to send one SL. Leave your whole squad elsewhere. I want to see someone like Smash Machine, maybe the NZN squad, just pushing this south side, start taking control of these bands and make sure there is no outside flanks coming on. Whis is up here. His outpost is pretty well progressed. Let me see BWCC, Hairy Codbox. Thanks for making me say your name. With his outpost nice and close as well, alongside his fellow recon players there. Garrison structure doesn't look like it's anything special. Again, that's why I want to see a squad taking this southern side here. I want to see a squad down here so they can get a garrison up, because you should be able to fit one in this range here between the garrison in D7 and fitting another one down here in C8. That shouldn't be a problem, and that just then allows you to start feeding squads in if that opening comes available. Now at the moment, you know, it's not available, but you do need to stop the Axis from taking that zone as well. As we see a tank go down in the distance there. Looks like that could have been an Axis tank. Yep, another Panzer IV goes down. I've seen too many Panthers out of these guys, so it's really not looking good for the Axis tanks at the moment. Garrison mark goes down there. How accurate is this? It's an interesting one from the GAT squad. Not sure I wholly agree with its placement, seeing as there is nothing in there. Zoom here looking to pick people across this field. Taking long shots up against the EG players. See Sniper's Dream. Just protecting this wheat field. This is turned into a true stalemate here at this stage. We're going to need to see something inventive. House Gangster commands very well when the map when he can make the map wide and get those wide flanks off. However, if you want to say anything about him, perhaps working his squads through the meat grind is perhaps his biggest weakness that we see from him. He doesn't tend to send too many squads through the middle. Now, if we take a look at this, there is this obvious gap down here in this south side. They've made some progress in the north on the odd occasion. However, I want to see a squad trying to work their way up this road. Tralfaust does not have any players in this squad. He is just the artillery player. I doubt there's anyone in there with him, so getting him high and progressed is only going to take map control. It's not going to give you any cap pressure whatsoever. But again, I also want to see the exact opposite from the Axis team here. I want to see them take this route that JJ's taking right now. I want to see him push through and just keep progressing his way along into these barns. Again, once you get into these zones, you become difficult to take out and difficult to root out of this area. See, hated Fake here has switched into squad leader and is making good progress up here. Smash Machine is blissfully unaware of Fake, and Fake is blissfully unaware of Smash Machine. Absolutely unawares of each other's presence. Perhaps Smash Machine's got a bit of a better idea, but it doesn't look like too much. Long range rocket comes in there. Not sure who that's from. Looks like that's from Mr. Pepple. Long-range rocket going into the centre of the point there. Perhaps he's aiming for a common garrison location now, unbeknownst to him. They're not using one. They've got this garrison right here in the little ditch, in the little waterway. Which is going to be fairly easy to spot. Fake might have even seen it there. If they can get an AT up this waterway, this garrison is going to go pretty quick, you would have thought. Now, nice defense here from NZN and the Wataha squads alongside their tanks, as Hated Tank and the WTH tank are just progressing and keeping this defense. If they go on the attack, it is mostly just open fields and wheat fields. Now, they have to take a bit of a roundabout route to go through those open fields. Is the real unfortunate thing, but if they get themselves stuck in these wheat fields, it will be a bit of a problem for them, because they are, I was going to say swarming, but that might be a little bit generous to this Axis team who have got absolutely zero impetus on this game. They've got no control over it at all. You get the feeling that really this Axis team are running out of ideas on how to attack Rita Gambersville. That is a difficult point to take, don't get me wrong. However, attacking it with a couple of auto riflemen and AT guys is not enough. You've got to start getting some squad leaders in. Looking at this here, there really is no pressure from this Axis team on the shortest route. They're all going for wide flanks, which just doesn't work. It's not going to work against this fairly well organized Allied team. We see a lot of players in from the Axis team on their defense. They're committing a lot to defend this EG squad, and that's the greatest compliment you can say about the EG team. it's really nice to be able to see these players here. Still being a nuisance in the backfield, spawning in the HQ sectors, which is they are difficult to rat out of these zones. There's even a garrison up here. Somehow, don't know how they've managed to get a garrison up green in this backfield, but when we take a look at this EG squad here, the garrison's right in the back. Unless you're paying close attention of where these EG squads are coming from, you're not going to notice their outpost back there at all, as you do spawn in front of it and you spawn facing towards Rue de Gabazil at this stage. So they're not going to notice there, not going to notice it. But we got so many players in this La Prairie point at the moment that, quite frankly, I'm not entirely sure what the Axis team are looking to do, if I'm honest with you. Taking a quick skim across the map here, we see Sniper Stream out in the distance up against the WD-44 squad, who look like they're perhaps chasing something with House Gangster. See in the chat box in the top left there, House Gangster telling BFT to go back into the circle. So let's take a look at the map that we can see here. Who have we got of BFT? Is it perhaps the Fox Squad? It looks like it's Fox Squad are the ones assigned to the strong point control. And the reason why they need him back into the strong point is purely this main attack here that looks like it perhaps could be coming in the front door. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not. There's not a lot for House Gangster to worry about here. But he is rightfully worried about them coming into this side. They did drop supplies near this barn area with Vince down here. I don't know whether he's going to be able to get that garrison up. But it won't stay up for too long. I wouldn't have thought. He does get the garrison up. However, there is players coming within 100 meters of it very slowly now. With Taha. And there is that artillery coming down soon. If they get spawns down here, if they get one spawn wave off, which I don't think they'll do now, they're likely just going to get shredded by the artillery anyway. So, no threat down here. No threat at all. BPS Kato finally making his way into the front door. Immediately, I'm going to assume that's Trollfaust on the artillery. Let's just quickly check the marker here. Is it Trollfaust? It is. Trollfaust on the artillery, immediately recognising the danger and knowing that PBS Kato is going to be coming into this zone here. Gets his artillery mark, and we can expect to see some shells landing at any minute now. Smex does come in off the OP from PBS Kato, so hopefully they can get a few more players rotating through, but now the artillery is dropping. Again, Hell Let Loose being a game of speed, we're not seeing absolutely any of it from this Axis team, so they're going to really struggle keeping players on the offensive with artillery up. Do you hear something go down behind me? I suspect it's probably the truck as we go past the delightful 2D sprite of the smoke effects. It is indeed the truck. Not too much tank gameplay going on. The tanks were over on the northern side. Let's take a quick look at the map to see if we can find these tanks. Looks like we've got a 76 out here with the hated tank squad. So let's go take a quick squiz at what these guys are up to. Looking across the open fields, lovely placement here. Really nice positioning here, actually. They're able to kite backwards and forwards if they so wish to. Now, I do believe I've got some of the live stats now from this game. PBS Xavier is on 94 kills after just 60 minutes, which is crazy. Now, I don't know about that one. I haven't seen PBS anywhere on this map so far. Let's take a look, see if we can find him in the scoreboards. See if this is the live stats. Now, I may just be a little bit blind, but I'm not seeing a PBS Xavier. So maybe that's last week's games. I'm gonna try and see if I can refresh it to get the current stats up. Does become a little bit tricky to do though. I'm trying to do this on my phone, so it doesn't always want to refresh for me. Take a look at some of the scores here on the Allies team. 60 minutes into the game though, we see some good scores here coming out from Baker Squad. In the tank, if they can get another couple more tank crews kills, then they're going to be on score for the 3,000 combat effectiveness that we kind of expect from a tank crew at this level to have a good game. EG, of course, having a fantastic game, picking up lots of kills here. BFT sitting on the point, not doing too much. High score for the allies coming in the form of the hated tank crew, who again having a nice game on score for their 3,000 point game. The KTM squad just a little bit behind, perhaps not on track for the 3,000 point game, but when you got two other tanks doing it, but it does become pretty tricky to pick up all those kills. K-House from WD44 picking up plenty of kills here, which is nice to see. As an AT, perhaps picked up a tank kill as well. So going back to the map now, as we zoom on out, we see a little bit of cap pressure now coming in the form of the allies getting into La Prairie. So let's zoom across here, and surprise, surprise, it's EG though, Aspid buddy. Stop trolling, man. What are you doing? Playing the pistol medic. It's just rude. BWCC are in there. They got the tanks up as well. The tanks have progressed far up into the point. And a satchel goes off, taking out more. BioRubs does get a nice tank kill there. You know, that tank was pretty exposed, if I'm honest with you. However, look at this. Look at the players flooding in now. BWCC getting their full squad up. EG getting their full squad up. And finally, someone's taken this southern side, and that's just going to stop any counterattack from PBS Kato coming forward now. Quits from NZN here is going to control this southern side, and as this bombing run comes in, a spawn wave comes off. The GAT squad does mark it. However, I don't know if that is going to be enough here. They're going to have to be quick. Can the MG get himself set up? Can Kradaf see this in time and get themselves in the way? Parsley coming up against Red there, somehow wins the trade. And Kato there gets picked off across this field. First day on PBS looking for that Hail Mary run across the field. They are getting bodies back in. They are getting players back here now. Will it be enough? It could be too little too late. EG do spawn in the point, getting more players into that strong point. However, it's looking pretty dicey, but I think the tank, the 76 there, probably seals the deal. This KTM squad here looks like it's probably won the game here. And they do. That's a GG. Fantastic there from the Allies team. Textbook stuff. The Axis team there, not quite making the mark there. PBS Kato squad picking up the most combat effectiveness here. Although, look at this. I'm not entirely sure what's happened here with the player count. That's not ideal to see. I'll commend House Gangster. Why not? Doesn't exactly need the levels, does he? At level 332. Taking a look at these squads here, PBS Kato squad with the most combat effectiveness in the game there, as I rack in this XP. Not that I particularly need it at this stage. The Allies team were fantastic in this. It was really nice to see them blitz through towards the end there and finally get bodies into the point. BWCC tank squad not exactly doing fantastically. Neither is items the Sin tank squad. There was just dominance really from the Allies team across the park, and a nice win for them. So I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll get to see you again next week for next week's Squadland Battles. Thanks for tuning in, and congratulations to House Gangster for picking up this